Every day, thousands of people walk up and down a hill known as College Heights, a distinctive feature of Western Kentucky University in Bowling Green, Kentucky. The hill is the heartland of WKU's history. On its peak stands the iconic Henry Hardin Cherry Hall, named after WKU's founder. It has since become a symbol of the university. As famous as the name and the building is to the community, little is known about Cherry's personal life, and even fewer realize they walk over a hidden piece of College Heights history.
Buried beneath me is a box placed here nearly 80 years ago when this bronze statue was erected in 1937 after H.H. Cherry died abruptly in office. The contents of such a box explain a great deal of how and why the man was turned into a larger-than-life legend.
A time capsule is a cache of materials that are saved from one generation to be given to another generation. It's a commemorative thing more than anything else.
The only way to excavate the time capsule would be to tear down the statue of Dr. Cherry, which, if we're honest, isn't likely to happen anytime in the near future. Luckily for us, we have another way of finding out what's inside the box.
The Kentucky building on WKU's campus houses a vast amount of archives and artifacts relevant to regional and state heritage. Among these are items particularly important to the university's history.
Well, this is a trowel that was used in the laying of the cornerstone of Cherry Hall. And this is the sort of thing that quite often people would save as, a commemorative of such an important event in the history of the university and, frankly, of Bowling Green and the state, was that this wonderful new classroom building was almost ready for opening. And then we also have a second trowel here in the Kentucky Museum collection. And this is very special because this was used with applying the mortar for the commemorative box and the Cherry statue. It's all part of documenting that history of the university.
Documents from the Great Depression indicated that the committee responsible for creating the Cherry statue also made a duplicate time capsule, placing it in the Kentucky building. Sandy Stabell, the curator of collections, and Sue Ellen Lathrop, the university archivist, set out to find this time capsule deep in storage. After a couple days of investigation, it was discovered.
The time capsule was in one of our processing rooms. It had at some point had been transferred over from university archives into the museum's custody because of its three-dimensional nature. And we were looking at it and I thought, oh, this is really interesting. So then, of course, we checked with the university archivist, Sue Ellen Lathrop, to learn more about it and to verify that indeed it was what we thought it was.
Okay, Sean, here's the box.
So this is the duplicate time capsule box of the one that's underneath
Right.
the Cherry statue.
That's right. And we have keys for the box.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
This is the original label for this duplicate box.
Wow. So this is has pretty much the exact same contents as the box underneath the statue.
That's right.
So why do you think they made a duplicate box?
For access, because they're not going to open the one under the statue anytime soon. So to make it available to students to use for exhibits and just to have it here to where people could use it and access it.
So what do you think is the importance of some of these items to the history of WKU or the life of Henry Hardin Cherry? What do they tell us about who Cherry was?
Right. Well, I mean, you've got information about Cherry Hall, about the Cherry statue dedication. There's information in here about him, his obituary, his life's work was Western. Dr. Cherry wrote 2 books, Our Civic Image and Education, the Basis of Democracy. So he really felt education and democracy went hand in hand. Now, were you aware that he ran for governor twice?
I think I heard that, but
Okay.
I don't think it's a very well-known fact.
Right. This is the Democratic campaign book for 1915. Cherry was not only an educator, he was interested in politics. He resigned twice from the school to run for governor.
Oh, wow.
And in this, it's got a label here, page 197 is the address made by Cherry at the convention that year. And this is the first talisman in 1924, and some postcards of Cherry Hall, newly built, and before it was called Cherry Hall, the new classroom building. So, and some postcards highlighting the university and of different views of campus at the time.
Oh, wow.
And colored postcards. There are buildings on here that are gone, that have been razed and removed from campus, so you get a feel for what the campus was like on the hilltop. It really hadn't spread down the hill at that point.
That's so neat.
Yeah.
Under his 42 years of leadership in public higher education, H. Cherry saw a small, private normal school transform into one of the largest public teachers' colleges in the country for that time.
When Henry Hardin Cherry died at the age of 72 here in this campus home, many elevated him to a demigod status. Some even wanted to bury him on the hill. Though this never happened, the time capsule box is a memorial grave of sorts that shows how the identity of the hill, College Heights, blended together and fused together with the memory of its founder.
Our fabric, our personality, the DNA that defines WKU was largely set by Henry Hardin Cherry. His resolve, his determination, his spirit, his energy, his independence, his entrepreneurial spirit, all those things I think are deeply woven into WKU today, and they're the very things that I've tried to exude during my time as president.
Cherry's vision for the College Heights campus transformed the hill from the rugged place of limestone and thistles to what today ranks as one of the most beautiful campuses in the South. The physical transformation of the hill during Cherry's presidency is noteworthy, but the time capsule also presents records that emphasize his spiritual influence on the community. A book found in the box contains Cherry's most famous speeches from his daily chapel services in Van Meter Hall. Here, the entire campus flocked daily to listen to some inspirational word or special program.
Many of WKU's most famous aphorisms, such as "Life More Life" and "The Spirit Makes the Master," originated right here on this stage behind me.
I do not know what that other thing is, except that it is an intangible spiritual force that largely determines every human success. That other thing is the thing above the rim. It is the plus of the soul. I do not believe that this country is in need of a larger intelligence so much as it is in need of a larger integrity. What we need is a leadership that will put the spiritual above the material.
Many who walk the hill today probably know little more about Henry Hardin Cherry other than the fact that he was WKU's founder and first president. The time capsule, however, reveals how his contemporaries wanted the man to be remembered. More than just a college president, he was painted as a philosopher, a political leader, a father figure, even a prophet.
Some who knew Cherry said his life was full of contradictions. On one hand, he preached democracy, but on the other, he ruled this place with authoritarian power. He disliked politics, though he found himself entrenched in them, even running for governor of Kentucky once. Contradictions aside, no one can deny the influence that Henry Hardin Cherry had in making this hill one of the most defining features of this university. The time capsule buried beneath this hill is just one subtle reminder of the influence his memory still has in the spirit of WKU.
It is our duty to sanctify this great hill by hard study, by making this beautiful physical panorama that we shall witness from this hilltop, a spiritual panorama to be transmuted into life, and finally, through a patriotic use of things spiritual and things material, unlock the door that confines an imprisoned self and allow a new and greater citizen to step forward, a blessing to man, a servant of God.